I've been thinking about how to get more organized recently, specifically because in some ways, I have gotten more organized, and I think I know why. And there's one thing that stood out to me that I wanted to kind of bring to you to get your thoughts on. So I've been pretty notorious in my life for having a pretty messy desk, for always having to sift through papers and files to find what I'm looking for, not really knowing where things are because things don't totally have a place that I keep them. It's kind of more so just a big pile that could have anything in it. And this is just kind of like over the last 10 years of my career in education, I as my work got increasingly more complex, I tended to have an increasingly more messy desk and office, and just kind of overall the way in which I would exist in my workspace got messier and messier. But recently, now that I do all my work from home, and I really have been thinking deeply a lot about how to kind of maximize how I use my space and the way in which I use the same space for multiple things, whether that be like filming YouTube videos, whether that be learning and reading, playing music, or exploring ideas and writing and working on the computer, and all these different little things that sure could be done just in the same spot on my desk, but I like to move around, and while I'm thinking, and kind of think more with my body than just like sitting in a chair. I do a little bit better that way. So I've really been intentional lately about noticing my organizational habits. And there's one thing that stood out to me that I wanted to kind of bring to you to get your thoughts on. And that's that I've found I'm at my most organized when I start a project or take on a responsibility that requires a higher level of organizational skills than I currently possess. So, what I mean by that is that before, when my desk was super messy all the time, filming like a top down YouTube video was just not possible. And because it would take so much time to clean it and put everything back in its place. And remember, not everything had a place, so it was just kind of like throwing things around randomly in piles to just get them out of the way. And and now, because I've been filming these videos every day for the last 2 weeks, I have done a couple of top-down ones and have actually kept that space, which is right over here, relatively clear. Let me just show you kind of what we're working with here. So my like desk office here, this is where I do my overhead shots, and it's relatively clean. I just, filmed a video that had a bunch of books, so that's why those are all there. I need to get those, but relatively clean compared to like I wish I could show you some of my other desk setups, but this is pretty good. Like, look at that. That's an actual like workspace that I can like do stuff on. Wow. And I think that because I have kind of committed to doing something a little bit insane, which is doing a long form video every single day for the next 75 days, or at this point, I'm over 2 weeks in, so whatever that math is, like doing that would have proven to be extremely difficult I had under the conditions that I had already created for myself from an organizational standpoint. And so now I find myself a lot more like resetting my workspace after I use it, and kind of finding a place for things and putting things consistently back in that place. Not because I set out to have a better organization system, but because I set out to do a project and do a task that required a better organization system. And I think that like it's still a work in progress. Like there's obviously still stuff out of place that doesn't quite like fit in any one area yet, and I don't quite know where I'm going to put it, but the thing is that because I'm filming a video every day, I have to streamline some things, and I have to make sure I have a real process for resetting and being ready to film stuff when I want to film stuff. And so this just kind of comes back to the idea of building your system before you're doing the work is just not it's not beneficial, it's not helpful. You need to just do the work and the system will reveal itself to you. And that's kind of what's happening here, where my organizational system is kind of coming together. It's not perfect, it's not done, it's a work in progress. It's a living, breathing thing that I have to consciously think about all the time. However, now things are in consistent places. I can reset my work area in just a couple of minutes, as opposed to spending like 30, 40 minutes trying to just deep clean everything and figure out the system from the start. And then the things that I reach for most often are finding their place close to me. The things that I don't use as much are finding their place farther away from me. And it's kind of like a natural shuffling that's happening in this process, because doing the work is different than building a system. And so if I were to have spent a lot of time trying to build my organization system of how I was going to film 75 videos over the next 75 days, I would probably still be trying to plan that system and tweak that system, and I probably wouldn't have even started filming the videos. Instead, I committed to filming 75 videos over the next 75 days by just filming video number 1, saying I was going to do it, and then the next day filming a video, and then the next day filming a video, and continuing. And then I managed to film 4 videos in a day, and then edit the 4 videos and post 4 at a time, and kind of go from there. And now I have a system that's starting to kind of take shape. It's starting to be clear to me what I need to do and how I need to do it, for no other reason than I got started with the work. And so if you're struggling with organization, whether that be on your desk, in your room, in your kitchen, start by committing to something that requires a higher level of organization, and just get to work doing that thing. And so if you want to organize your kitchen, start cooking more. Make commitments around cooking. If you want to organize your desk in your office more, take on projects that require a higher level of organization than you currently have. Or commit to doing your work in a way that requires you to reevaluate how you keep your files, how you organize your supplies, things like that. And through that, you will start to discover that the organization comes secondary to whatever it is you're trying to do. So let me know in the comments, have you experienced a similar idea? Have you experienced a similar phenomenon where if you want to get more organized, you just have to start doing something that requires you to get organized, instead of organizing yourself and then doing the thing? Let me know. Love to hear from you. I'll see you tomorrow.